Family Theater presents Robert Ryan and Hans Conried. From Hollywood, the Mutual Network, in cooperation with your Family Theater, brings you Hans Conried as Sidney Carton in Charles Dickens' classic, The Tale of Two Cities. To introduce the drama, your host and narrator, Robert Ryan.
Thank you, Gene Baker. Herewith, we bring you the tragic yet triumphant story of a man, Sidney Carton. A man of golden promise who'd wasted every opportunity. This was Sidney Carton. He hated life, its people, and himself. So he drank to forget, to numb the dull pangs of remorse. His disheveled, tipsy figure was a source of mystery in London legal circles. To all appearances, he was an errand boy and flunky for the Honorable Stryver, a rising young barrister. But the truth was, he was Stryver's mind, the brilliant legal strategist who engineered Stryver's quick success. It was in 1780 that a young Frenchman, Charles Darnay, went on trial at the Old Bailey. The charge was treason, transmitting military information to the American rebel George Washington. The completely innocent Darnay retained Stryver's counsel, who, as always, appeared before the bar accompanied by his apparent flunky, Sidney Carton. Throughout the opening morning, Carton seemed far more interested in the movements of a fly upon the ceiling than in anything taking place in court. Even when court recessed, he remained indifferent.
Sidney?
The Honorable Stryver?
Let's follow the crowd out and have lunch. Rick a glass to the pretty witness.
Who's pretty?
The picturesque old doctor's daughter, Lucy Manette.
She pretty?
A man alive, she had the whole court goggle-eyed. I have a mind to marry her myself.
She's in love with Darnay. He with her. Well, not that they know it yet. But they'll be married.
I deny she'll marry the prisoner.
Poor fellow. There he sits. Alone, forgotten, frightened.
The prisoner?
Why don't you go over and cheer him up?
I'll go out and comfort the young lady. Meet you at the bar.
Right, Stryver. Mr. Darnay.
Yes?
I'm Sidney Carton, Stryver's jackal. That is, I'm useful to him. In return, he gives me lodgings and other considerations.
Indeed, sir.
Tell me, Mr. Darnay, that's a fair young lady to be pitied by and wept for. How does it feel? Is it worth being tried for one's life to be the object of such sympathy? Shall I find out how she fares and tell you?
Could you tell her I am deeply sorry to have caused her agitation? Could you tell her so for me?
Yes, I could. I will, if you ask it.
I do ask it. You're very kind. I hardly
I'm
know.
never kind. She'll be on the bench outside. I'll let you know.
Oh, yes. I feel much better, Mr. Lorry. Go have your lunch. Please do.
Miss Manette, I'm Sidney Carton, friend of Stryver's.
Oh, how do you do, Mr. Carton? This is Mr. Lorry, an old friend of our family.
We've met before.
Unfortunate that we should meet again.
Lucy, I shall return in time to escort you to the trial when it resumes.
Won't you sit down beside me, Mr. Carton?
No, thank you. Miss Manette, the prisoner, Darnay, feels responsible for your distress. Perhaps you have a reassuring message I might take him. Would you say it were a pity if they sentence him to die?
Yes. Well, that would be wrong. It would be awful.
You would weep for him?
Yes. I would weep.
Shall I inform the prisoner of your womanly sentiments?
Could you?
Yes, I could. I will, if you ask it.
I ask it.
I'll convey your message to the prisoner.
Mr. Carton, thank you for your kindness.
No kindness was intended.
continue the cross-examination of the witness Barsad.
Yes, my lord. Now, John Barsad.
Now what?
Mr. Barsad, the Crown has built its edifice of accusations upon your positive identification of the prisoner.
The fellow on the Dover coat was him, there.
It was night. The stranger's face was sunk deep in his muffler.
Yes.
When the coach stopped, he vanished in the ink-black darkness.
That's right.
Mr. Barsad, would you admit the possibility that the face in the Dover coach was someone who looked something like the prisoner?
It was the prisoner, no mistake.
Mr. Barsad, would you feel so positive if I showed you other faces resembling in a remarkable or less degree the prisoner's?
I doubt if there's another face like his in all of England.
Yeah. My lord, will you ask my good friend, Mr. Carton, to stand up?
Stand up, Mr. Cotton.
Very well, my lord.
No, my lord, I must ask that Mr. Carton stand beside the prisoner.
Make way, make way.
Thank you, Mr. Carton. Now, John Barsad, please to fix your gaze on Mr. Carton. You see anything remarkable?
Well, if you ask me, I'd say the gentleman has had a spot too much of port.
Not too much, Mr. Barsad, but the day is yet young.
Mr. Carton, you have ridden on the Dover coach at times?
How many times I would not care to say.
Mr. Carton, if you will please take off your wig and gown.
Oh, gladly. Beastly things, insufferably hot. There.
Yes, you see, you are astonished. My lord half rises from his seat. But wait! Now, Sidney Carton, if it be within your histrionic powers, assume the prisoner's habitual grave and noble mien.
Behold, a worm. And now, a butterfly.
Aye, my lord. Aye, his veritable counterpart. My lord, gentlemen, and you, John Barsad, let all eyes confirm the truth, so obvious. Gentlemen of the jury, it would seem the Crown has built its case upon a cornerstone of quicksand. John Barsad, for all your vaunted patriotism, you remain what you've always been, a liar, criminal, paid perjurer, and spy. I rest.
When the jury brought in its verdict of acquittal,